Hi guys. So we had a pretty distressing case come in yesterday from a neighboring city. We had someone report to us that there was a dog they thought had mange or it was sick, and we recommended some local vets in the area or asked if they had contacted them, and we were made aware that the local vet had darted the dog at least on 2 occasions and given it injections of ivermectin and then just left the dog on the street. So Warpaws, as a group, we decided to pay to bring the dog to us because the local vet there demanded payment to dart and bring the dog to us. And upon arrival, like we just weren't prepared for just how bad the animal was suffering and how bad off he was. I'll stitch some video in here. I would turn off the video now if you've got a weak stomach because it's pretty upsetting, so trigger warning. Okay, so this dog that came in from De Hook, we've had to sedate him so that we can properly examine him. This dog had been darted at least twice by a vet in De Hook and was given injections of ivermectin, which is not an appropriate treatment, and was then left on the streets to suffer. We paid to have the dog brought to us so that we could properly examine him. And it's not looking good, but we'll gather all the information we can before making any decisions. As you can see in those videos, that animal, the dog we named Phoenix, all of the cartilage and soft tissue on the top of his muzzle was eaten away up to the bone, and his sinuses were completely exposed. He had infection going into his orbital cavities, like into his eyes. His ears were all mangled up. The ends of his tail, like, there was no part of that dog that was not crusted over and in pain and infected, and everywhere you touched him, infection was coming out. So we see a lot of cases here where the public has reported a dog to a local vet, and I know I speak for everyone at Warpaws when I say we're getting rapidly, we're losing our patience with the lack of compassion in veterinary care here, and how they won't even consider euthanasia in cases where it is the only humane option for these animals. This dog, we think it's something that it had been suffering with for a long time, possibly autoimmune. We're consulting with some specialists in the UK just to confirm our diagnosis. But 3 vets here have examined the dog. They did blood work. They took samples from the dog's nose, and darting that dog, injecting it with ivermectin, and then leaving it in the street to wake up is nothing short of cruel. And we routinely get dogs that have been brought to us that have been seen by multiple local vets, and we're just getting really tired of people letting the animals suffer because of their own personal feelings regarding euthanasia. It's not something that any of us enjoy doing, but it's the right choice for the animal in cases like this. And poor Phoenix didn't have to suffer that long. We have never turned away a case like that, and we've been in the region for years. Any local vet could have brought that dog to us, and we would have properly examined it, run diagnostics, and euthanized if necessary. Or maybe if we had caught it earlier, maybe we could have treated that dog and saved his life. But we'll never know. And shame on anyone that would let an animal suffer and not offer them euthanasia. Especially medical professionals, anyone with a veterinary degree, you should know better. So with this dog, his sinus is open, just all along the top of his nose has been eaten all along his muzzle. Did you want to explain a little bit about what you're seeing?
Yeah, so basically he's got all of these kind of sores and scabs all over his body, including sort of mostly on his face. And you can see here basically his entire kind of architecture of his nose has been eaten away, and you can see the sinuses are open here. That's going right up. He's got pus coming into his eyes from where the sinuses sort of, it's meant to go the other way. The tears drain into the nasal passages. This time it's going from the nose into the eyes, which is quite gross. But yeah, so this boy is suffering quite a lot at the moment.
So Phoenix is no longer suffering, and we hope he rests in peace, and that there's something after this that's better than what he had. Because I don't know if that dog knew any kindness or comfort, at least in the last few years.